Howdy, howdy, folks. It is Diecastbuffet here again, and Kyle Larson whips the entire field, dominates the entire All-Star race, and one of the most impressive wins probably you'll ever see in the Gen 7 era, because this is an era of parity, not an era of dominance. This was like Jimmy Johnson at the Coke 600, 2016 Martin Truex Jr. Coke 600-esque. I mean, this was an absolute whipping. Whoo! That race with Diecast, guys. Make sure to pre-order it. Kyle Larson's North Wilkesboro All-Star Race win. I can almost guarantee you they're going to offer a 164. Make sure to pre-order that over there at Circle Diecast. Use code DIECASTbuffet. If you haven't heard, the shipping code has been upgraded, so instead of $5 off, it's actually, well, $6 off for any orders $30 or more. We got some spicy opinions about North Wilkesboro, and this is going to be fun. So, I picked Joey Logano to win. He didn't win. I've been thinking about picking him for months. But I made a poll a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, and I asked, what do you think is going to be a better race? The truck race at North Wilkesboro or the All-Star race? And to my surprise, most people said the All-Star race. And I'm sitting there thinking, do you really think the next-gen car is going to be great at another short track? I've been saying this for weeks. The truck race is going to be so much better than the All-Star race. And sure enough, the truck race is an all-time classic, in my opinion. The atmosphere, we haven't saw a crowd at a truck race like this possibly since the Winston Cup era. I mean, it's like, it was just incredible, the electric atmosphere. And the quality of the racing was fantastic. You had Cup drivers, you had young drivers, beating and banging. I mean, you truly need a full field of vehicles to make North Wilkesboro work. Let me tell you, it's not the racetrack's fault. Let me make that 100% clear. This is one of the best short tracks in the country. The asphalt is so worn out. The elevation changes. The Truck Series proved this racetrack is incredible, but you got to have a race vehicle that's capable of running. I said the truck race would be a much better show. Sure enough, it was. I don't take any credit for it. I just feel like it's kind of obvious. You know what I'm saying? Not that I know anything, but it's obvious. Every time the trucks go to anywhere except for Richmond, it's a barn burner. IRP, Martinsville. When they go to Milwaukee Mile, it's going to be probably a barn burner. It's just the trucks, the drivers are physical. They take risks. They go for it. And you look at the All-Star Open. The All-Star Open was a million times better than the All-Star Race, like every year. I've been watching NASCAR full-time since 2011. I think I watched the 2010 All-Star Race when Kurt Busch won. And I got to be honest with you, every single year, doesn't matter if it's Charlotte Motor Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway, or now North Wilkesboro, the All-Star Race is the most overhyped event every single year because you have half the field of drivers, there's next to no cautions because here's the reality. Yes, each team still makes money because of the charter deal, but here's the reality. If you get paid nearly the same amount of money for finishing second or 17th in the All-Star Race, what is going to incentivize you to actually go and move the next guy out of your way, to push him out of the way, to door bang on the straightaways? Nothing. You take $500,000 race car and then you get say, well, I can go and tear it up and make the same amount of money that I would finishing dead last almost. So my point is there's such a counterintuitive incentive with the All-Star race nowadays where you only have maybe 3 cars that are willing to go for it. It's just, we've seen this at Charlotte Motor Speedway for so many years. We've seen this at Texas Motor Speedway. Don't even get me started on last year's All-Star race. This one, as, well, let's say uneventful as it was a million times better than last year's. Let's just call it what it is. And I will say, this is something that I've been feeling the last month or so as well. I feel like the pre-race show for the All-Star race was going to be better than the actual show. And unfortunately, it was true. The pre-race was just better than the actual event. It's just, this next-gen car, it is the problem. It's not the racetrack. The trucks proved it. The first thing I would do is get an Xfinity day here. We need Xfinity at North Wilkesboro. I'm telling you, them cats would tear it up. It would be such a great show. But they probably won't do it, which is asinine to me. But I'm just saying, for the next-gen cars, they race horrible at flat, short tracks. That's just what it is. The tire fall-off was amazing, but these cars are modified sports cars, right, with shifting. Massive changes have to be made. I've been saying this after Martinsville. I said this after Richmond. Richmond is pretty much, I wouldn't say, it's not a sister track, but it's probably the most comparable track to North Wilkesboro. But you can just tell these next-gen cars, brother, it's just, they don't race good at short tracks. And then you have drivers that don't even bother trying. Like in the All-Star Open, I mean, Noah Gregson's going for it. Michael McDowell's going for it. Ty Gibbs is going for it. Even Eric Almirola, you can tell he's trying to get to Ty Gibbs' back bumper. And then they get in the All-Star race, and everyone's just, they race like they have, their cars are made of paper, like they're afraid to bend the front bumper a little bit. They're racing one of the toughest stock cars in history. I mean, the front and rear of these cars are so tough. It's incredible. It's just the toe links that are the weakest link. Pun intended with the name toe link. But you get what I'm trying to say. So I know these opinions are pretty spicy. I have been a big supporter of this North Wilkesboro restoration project. I think it's an amazing idea. I love to see history preserved in NASCAR. It's not the racetrack's fault. It's the truck race was incredible. Go watch it. They'll upload a full race replay of it on YouTube. Go watch it. It was incredible, man. The racing we had there. We needed Xfinity race. The Cup cars, I don't care. They could have raced Richmond and it would have been the same way. They probably could have raced Martinsville and it would have been the same way. I'm just telling you, the next-gen cars suck at flat, short tracks. Even Martinsville, a track that has historically been one of the best shows in the past years. And I say past, I mean it could be a decade, it could be 5 years, X, Y, and Z. These next-gen cars do not run good at short tracks. The All-Star race every year is the most overhyped event next to Phoenix and next to Richmond. It's like the championship race. They hype it up like it's some Super Bowl or World Series Game 7, and then they get there and the championship 4 just mind their P's and Q's and they don't even bother to race each other hard, unless it's the truck or the Xfinity race when they actually are a little bit physical. I'm just saying, guys, I'm not surprised. I like deep down inside, I'm not surprised. I unfortunately anticipated this. I've asked myself so many times, is the Truck Series race going to be better than the All-Star race? And I was like, it's going to be the truck race, no doubt. The trucks is the best show. I even told myself before the truck race, if I had one choice to go to the truck race or the All-Star race, I'm not thinking twice. I'm going to the truck race. I'm going to give me some popcorn. I'm going to go watch the trucks beat and bang all day long, then watch, well, you know, the All-Star race. I'm a huge Kyle Larson fan, and my man just whipped the entire field. I mean, you could hear his interview. I mean, he whipped them, yo. That 5 car was in a whole other zip code. It was 2016 Coke 600 MTJ levels. That's how dominant Kyle Larson was. I mean, he's a generational talent. He's the best, in my opinion, he's the most talented driver out there. I mean, it doesn't matter. This guy is probably going to run, I mean, when he goes and runs the Indy 500 next year, I would not be surprised he has an opportunity to get a podium. I would not be surprised one bit. If he has a good car, they have good qualifying, and the crew does their job, Kyle Larson is just that talented. It's just domination, man. But my honest opinion on it, massive changes need to be made to the next-gen car. You got to either add horsepower, get rid of the shifting, get rid of that, maybe even remove the spoiler, remove the splitter, remove the side skirts. I don't care what you got to do. You have to find a way to make these cars race like the Gen 6 at the short tracks. It's a modified sports car. I'm just going to keep it real. It's a spec sports car with a stock car body on it. A Camaro, Camry, whatever. And I'll end the video on this, guys. And this kind of racks my mind. It's kind of asinine to me. It's amazing how do we go to a track like Dover, go to Darlington, and drivers are losing their mind. Even Kansas, they're wrecking on lap 4 at Kansas. They're racing like it's the final lap at a 1.5 mile, which is like 2 to 3 times bigger than these short tracks. Yet, they go to a short track and they race like the cars are made out of paper, like they can't hit each other. It blows my mind how we get such physical racing at 1.5 miles, what used to be an absolute snooze fest by most fans' opinion. You could go to the old YouTube comments, go to the 2016, 2015, 2018 full race replays, and you'll see so many comments from the fans that watched it that day or whatnot, and they'll say, oh, what a snooze fest. Wow, nothing happened. Domination, blah, blah, blah. It's a fact. So my point is that the drivers, in my opinion, need a little bit of fault as well. You got to race more aggressively. I feel for the North Wilkesboro fans. They put on a massive, massive, massive renovation project. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, in motorsports history to get this track where it is. And they turned out they had a borderline Winston Cup-sized crowd. Such a great advertisement and marketing campaign they have done for over a year now. And the drivers are not willing to put it on the line. That's on the drivers themselves. You got to race aggressively. If they had the Truck Series race tonight, it would have, with that crowd, it would have been amazing. They had a great crowd for the truck race, but the Cup race was a little bit better. I'm just saying. And don't even get me started on the open races. The open races raced exactly like the All-Star race. If you have one driver that gets the million, which is the kind of the carrot on the stick, so to speak, it's the gimmick that sells the product. Guess what? In years past, the All-Star race used to mean something. It seems like the drivers and the teams are like, well, if we're not top 2 or top 3, just turn it into a glorified test session. Just drive around and save our equipment, because they're probably running their Martinsville car. They might even be running their Gateway car, Richmond, whoever, and they'll just save the car for the playoffs or whatever. I want to see them beating and banging. When's the last time we have seen a true All-Star race that lived up to expectations? I'm just going to keep it real. So, I don't know. I love the truck race. I'm happy and very blessed I was able to watch it on TV. It was fantastic. And it's kind of cool how, I have this is the Chase Elliott Bristol dirt raced version diecast, but it's pretty cool seeing good old Kyle Larson win that truck race as well. So he sweeps the weekend. Happy for that. Happy for the Hendrick camp. What do y'all think? I know my opinions are a little bit spicy, but I'm not caught off guard by this. I truly expected a long green flag, nothing happening, overhyped race. It's not the racetrack's fault. Believe me, it is not. I guarantee you, if you had an Xfinity race, it would be just like the truck race. Big crowd, big wrecks, crazy hard racing, dive bombs. I mean, the truck race was such a good show. Man. Hey, at least the Coke 600s next week. This is the era of the sport we live in, where we go to a racetrack that's 3 times bigger, and the racing is going to be 10 times more physical at the Coke 600. I mean, they're going to be more physical, get this, at the Indy 500 than they were at North Wilkesboro. Put that in perspective. There are going to be more wrecks, hard passing, and everything at the Indy 500 next weekend than there are at North Wilkesboro. Just saying, these next-gen cars, they suck at short tracks. But for all you Kyle Larson fans out there, make sure to pre-order that Race 1 diecast. It's going to be, I feel like years from now, if they don't overproduce it, it's going to be a very, very, very special win, considering it is the return to North Wilkesboro. You're going to have cats who are not a Larson fan that's going to want that diecast. There's a lot of historical significance there, so I'm going to end the video on that. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great one, everybody. I'm so looking forward to the next weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. ARCA, Trucks, Xfinity, Cup, Indy 500, 5 big races. I'm so hyped for it. I tell you what, I love Charlotte Motor Speedway. So that's all for now. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Congratulations again to my man Larson getting it done. Diecastbuffet. Signing off.